Hey everybody, welcome back to my Business by Design Summit. And today I have a good friend, Gerald Rogers from Utah and here in the States. And he is the Vice President of all things awesome.
Yay! I just throw that in there. And we're going to have a party right now, Carrie, and I'm so excited to be here.
I love it. I love it. I'm so happy to interview him today because his story, I'm going to learn right alongside of you. Just when you think you know a person, you're going to discover just as much as I do today about Gerald. So in all honesty, this is about business by design and lifestyle and doing what you love and finding a way to get paid for it. And Gerald is the perfect example to live by. So Gerald, show us and kind of tell us how you got started in this entrepreneur spirit and world that you now live in.
Thank you so much. And I love the concept of business by design. In fact, my whole business is based around creating a conscious lifestyle design, really helping people understand that they can have it all. And business is part of that. You should be able to create the abundance that you want while living your soul purpose. And I feel really grateful that I have the opportunity to do that. Like, I think you probably experienced the same thing. Like, I really honestly feel like I don't ever work. Like, I don't work. My goal is to never work a day in my life, right? I really just want to wake up loving what I do, feeling like I'm making a huge impact in the world. And yeah, just really celebrating life in the journeys. And it's sad because I know that for most people it's not that way. I know for most people they struggle and they end up getting stuck in jobs or doing things they don't want. And I've been there. Like, trust me, I've been there. And it's funny as we kind of look at our journey of like what leads us to be where we're at right now. And I look at each of these little stepping stones in my life, and I can see how my journey was perfectly designed to help me get to where I'm at. And I couldn't have bypassed any of the mistakes or any of the failures or any of the businesses that completely went wrong. Like, every one of them gave me an important key that helped me to be where I'm at right now. And so I'm grateful for it. And at the time it was really hard. And so if any of your listeners right now are watching this and think, oh my gosh, like, business is so hard, it's just like, congratulations, fantastic. You're in the perfect spot for you right now. Learn what you need to, and then you evolve and grow. And my journey went from actually studying graphic design and illustration. I was a freelance illustrator for about 6 years, and there were a lot of great things about that, but there was also a part of me that wasn't fully fulfilled in that. And then my brother gave me this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I read that book, and it just lit my mind on fire, and it helped me start thinking about business and money and financial freedom and what that looked like. And it ignited like this spark in me where I really wanted to master this game of money. And so I kind of abandoned my art career and jumped into real estate investing. And I discovered for me the way that I learn best is by making incredibly epic mistakes, right? And I did that. I made every mistake possible. The biggest mistake, though, that I made during that time was buying into this idea that I needed to do something that I didn't really love, I didn't really enjoy, and that if I did that long enough, then I could spend the rest of my life actually doing what I love, right? This idea of like, if I just get rich with real estate, I'm not really passionate about real estate, I know it's not my purpose, it's not my mission, but I can get rich with it. If I just do that, then I can retire early, then I can spend the rest of my life doing what I really want and really love. And that's just total, complete bullshit. And we buy into this idea, and many people are seduced in the idea that, you know, you get a job and you work at that job for, 30, 40 years, even if you're not passionate about it, and then some mystical point in the future, you're going to be able to retire and do what you love, right? So that's, I was kind of on this game plan, and then I was living in Florida at the time, and I went through this epic financial collapse. As the real estate market crashed, I ended up with 8 properties in foreclosure and $500,000 in debt. And I was like, this isn't quite the financial freedom I was planning on. But that bankruptcy that I went through was one of the greatest gifts, because it helped me realign with this idea inside of me, and it helped me really get clear. It's like, I'm not willing to settle in life. I'm not willing to buy into the idea that I have to do something I don't like in order to get to some point in the future that I can do what I love. I'm committed to living my purpose now, and I'm committed to finding a way to get paid for it. And so I realized my greatest passion was helping and inspire and empower other people through my personal development workshops and seminars, and really teaching them the core fundamentals of how to grow a purpose-driven business. And my core event, Live Big, was something I was so passionate about because I saw how much people's lives would change in 3 days. And it's like, okay, how do I get paid for doing this? How do I get paid for like changing lives? How do I get paid for, you know, being in this environment where I'm surrounded by inspired people? How do I get paid for being able to, you know, take my clients on these exotic retreats? Like we got like this 5-day intensive workshop in Hawaii, you know, where we get to redesign their life. And I was like, how do I get paid for doing that? And it really put me on this path of like committing to discover how to do that more fully. And it's beautiful. So for the last 7 years, I've had this opportunity to, you know, create my own schedule, to be able to change thousands of lives, be able to work with inspiring people from all over the country, all over the world. And I know that couldn't have happened if I didn't go through those other learning experiences and all those businesses that failed and all those ideas that I thought were my $1 million ideas that completely didn't work out. Like I look back and I'm so grateful that they didn't work out, because if they had worked out, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And I love where I'm at. Like I love my life.
I know you and I were talking like, why would you ever choose anything else? You know, and that's part of it, is we're not trying to entice anybody that we're all wonderful. We're trying to show you how great it is. Come join us. Come play with us. You know,
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's not, ooh, look at me, I have a lifestyle business.
I know.
No, it gets better, guys. Keep going.
Yeah. If anything, I want to inspire people that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be like us. Like I'm like, there's so many things I'm totally messed up at and that I'm not really great at, but I still am able to create the life that I want. Why? Because I choose it. That's it. Like I would not settle for something else, right? There's no way someone could coerce me. Well, I was actually thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking about how completely unemployable I am, right? Like completely, like I'm like
It's a good place to be.
In order for someone to actually hire me, I would need these requirements, right? Number one, I would need total flexibility to do only what I love. Number two, I would need ability to never ever wake up to an alarm clock and just to wake up like whenever I feel like it. I would need the ability to take as much vacation time as I want, up to 4 or 5 months a year. Never work Fridays. You know, get off. And then I would need to be able to have time every day to take a nap, right? And I need to make a high
schedule. You were just describing my schedule.
And I would need a high 6-figure income. If someone could match what I have right now in my business, which is like all of that is like what my business is like right now. If someone could match all of that, then I might consider like going and working for someone. But until then, like I'll just keep like doing what I'm doing because I get to enjoy all that. And once again, it's just simply because I would not settle for anything less. I'm sure it's taken some work and energy, and sure I've had to learn a ton to be able to do that and develop some skills and talents and know how to best serve and support people. But I see all these people that are, you know, and like there's a stat that says like 70% of all Americans are unhappy. They're either very unhappy or somewhat unhappy with their job. And I just want to take them and say, wake up, stop. Like, don't, like, you're spending so much of your life energy, your life force doing that. Like, stop. Like, you have a choice. You live in America. There's a million ways to make money in this country. Find what you love, become great at that, serve other people with your gifts, your skills, your talents, and live a life that you're passionate about. Like just don't settle. Just don't settle.
Or Gerald's gonna come wring your neck.
Ah, wake up! Ah! Right.
So scary.
Oh, so scary.
I thought you were the ambassador of happiness. You just
I am totally the ambassador of happiness, and so I take a deep stand for people who are committed to being unhappy. I'm like, stop being committed to being unhappy. Like, really commit yourself to happiness, and living in alignment with your soul purpose is a huge part of that. So I'm done with my rant. You can ask me another question, or you can share your insights.
You know, it would be fun to just go through a big corporate, you know, building and just rain happiness everywhere, you know, and I know you've done stuff like that. which is a lot of fun. But my place, I have a soft spot for people in the corporate world. I escaped that box, and it's not one that I could ever go back to. And you mentioned jobs. I was offered 6 jobs this past year, and every single one of them, just that feeling of letting go of my freedom schedule and not being flexible and being here and present with my daughter. And it's just like, I don't even care what you're going to pay me. It's not going to happen. No, thank you. So
No.
I'm like you. It's that freedom has no price tag. I mean, that flexibility, and I'm a nap person too. You can't do that in the corporate world. That couch back there, yeah, you can catch me on that in a minute. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So, you know, I think the lifestyle we get to have with these types of businesses is a lot healthier too, obviously. So, you know, just staring at a computer for 10 hours a day or however you work is not the way to live. So hopefully Gerald and I inspire people that are watching today. So tell us, you know, because I'm sure people are like, well, how do you make money? I mean, he just said he takes a nap and he works, he takes 3 and 4 month vacations. He's going to Hawaii. What is he doing in Hawaii? So, you know, kind of give us the nuts and bolts of how that works for the logical people watching the show.
Yeah, well, I can break down how it works for me and my business, but then I give some like really specific principles because for other people building their businesses, because the same principles work for someone whether they're passionate about serving people as a coach or a mentor or a speaker, or if they're passionate about real estate and want to be a real estate agent or a mortgage broker, or if they're passionate about being an accountant. I mean, these are entrepreneurial principles for people that are commission based and they're just on their own. So I'll share some things. My business is basically set up around coaching and mentoring, and probably much like you, Carrie, like I'm passionate about just helping people tap into their purpose and really get clear on why am I here in the world. And I do a lot of conscious lifestyle design and help them really look at how can they have it all. How can they have the body of health that they want and desire? How can they have the relationships that are thriving, connected, and intimate? How can they have that business that lights them up where they're making a huge impact in the world and making a huge income in the process? And how do they merge all of that together into a lifestyle that has the harmony, that has the flow, that has, you know, the components that really light them up? And so I love that. And so I've got this event called Live Big, which is a 3-day breakthrough event that people are able to just really wake up, identify who they are, what their core strengths are, you know, what their gift is to the world, identify what their sole purpose is. And then from there, teach them the money principles of how to create abundance through marketing and sales and these other skills that are required. Because it's always a combination of the mindset and the skill set, the inner game and the outer game that are required for a business to work. And if someone has all the skills, but they don't have the mindset, they don't know how to master themselves, they don't know how to motivate themselves, they don't know how to stand in their personal power, all the skills in the world mean nothing. And likewise, they could have all of this confidence and all this enthusiasm and all this, you know, passion for life, but if they don't know how to, you know, brand themselves or how to market themselves effectively online or how to, you know, sell effectively, then their business isn't going to work. So it's that mindset and skill set are required. And so my goal through my workshops, seminars, and coaching programs is to merge those two worlds to empower people really to practically, you know, develop that and learn how to double their income while doing what they love. And then I do, you know, outside of Live Big, there's, you know, mentoring programs that I have. I've got a 30-day program. There's 6 months. And my coaching programs run anywhere from $2,500 up to $100,000 to work with me. Just based on the package and what's involved. And then in addition to that, we have like higher level retreats and workshops. For instance, we have this event coming up in Hawaii in December. It's a $5,000 experience for people to come and be in this exclusive group that they're completely redesigning their life during that experience, where we're exploring, where we're, you know, facing their fears, where we're, you know, getting clear on, you know, what their business and life's going to look like. So that's, you know, nuts and bolts overview of what my business looks like. But fundamentally, like the core principles that I think are required for any business to succeed is the mindset and the skill set. The mindset is personal power. So really locking down your personal power, knowing who you are, overcoming your limiting beliefs, your blocks around money, your blocks around sales, your blocks around, connecting with people. Like, that is the biggest thing that holds people back in business, is the own baggage that they carry in their brain that says they can't do it, or they're not worthy of success, or they don't. And in personal power, that also helps them align with, okay, what is my goal? What is my mission? What is my objective? And how do I manage my time and resources effectively to create that? So personal power is the foundation for everything. But then the skill set that's required, if you're going to have your own business, there's only a couple activities that actually make money. And I see so many business owners that spend so much time and energy doing things that don't make money, right? They've got a 40-hour work week, and 30 hours of that is spent, I'm going to do research, I'm going to work on my website, or I'm going to be, to do all of this stuff that's just distraction and noise that keeps them from doing what's actually going to make them money. The only activities that really make money is, number one, marketing. Finding new people to talk to share your message with, and to market really effectively to who is your ideal target audience. And then the second skill is sales. Marketing and sales are the gateway to creating finances and money. That's it, period. Like, if you want to make money, master those two skills. But I see so many broke healers and broke business owners that are really great at what they do. They're amazing accountants, or they're amazing massage therapists, or they're amazing at this or that, but they have no clients. Why? Because they've never focused on the business skills of marketing and sales. And then the third pillar that's required is actually business systems, right? Really effective systems to be able to do it. So it's personal power, modern marketing, authentic influencer sales, and strategic systems. You have those four components in place, and you really can have this dynamic business that, there's no reason, if you live in America or any other modern country, that you shouldn't make a good six-figure income doing what you love, right? But it requires you to actually be doing things that provide massive value for other people. You do that, and you've got a business.
I love it. It's true. A lot of people really, really work on mastering their craft, and then marketing, they think, well, if I'm good enough, the word will get out. No. If you're just living off of referrals, you're going to drown quickly, or you'll burn out. You need to really get the marketing and sales piece down. That's huge, huge. I work with lots of people like that. So, and some don't know what they want to do. So do you even work with people that are like, I don't even know what craft I want to master?
Yeah, there's a whole process that I take people through in terms of alignment. Alignment's like a really key in my work. And it's true, people can get into business too early, right? And often, there's a stat which says, actually, I'll ask you this: how many businesses fail within the first 5 years?
4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's something like 90% of all businesses fail. And my opinion of that is, like, businesses don't fail. People quit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? People quit because they suck at business, right?
Yes.
Or they got into a business that wasn't in alignment with who they were in the first place, and they didn't have all the resources, and they didn't have all the information. And then they just plain gave up just because it wasn't what they dreamed it would be. Like, face it, like, being an entrepreneur requires you to do things that, that are going to be outside of your comfort zone. So there's a lot of work that I do into helping people understand who they are at their core, and then what their purpose is. And here's the deal: even in my Live Big workshop, we really focus on 4 key questions. Number one, who am I? Who am I at my core? And so many people are stuck in the story of who they're not, because they have all these labels and all these ideas and all these identities that they've built in their life, and based on these roles and other people's perceptions and their own fears or limiting beliefs. And so most people live from who they're not. When we clear all of that away, who are you at your core? Like, what is your core genius, your core gift? And then from there, we can ask the question, okay, what is my purpose? The challenge is, if we try to answer what is my purpose, or the third question is, what do I want? Like, if we try to answer those questions before we know who we are, it's always going to be wrong, right? And we're going to be trying to build a business based off of ego, or reach towards goals based off of ego versus our true, authentic self. And so a lot of people have to go through a journey of discovering who they really are, at their core, and then they can really go through the process of identifying, okay, what's my purpose? What is the gift? What lights me up? If I could do anything with my life, what's the legacy I want to create? And then in that question of what do I want in all areas of my life? And how do I build a business that's built around my life versus build my life around my business? You know, that's a very important thing, because I see a lot of other people get into business, and then all of a sudden, and for some people, the worst thing that can happen for them is their business is successful, right? Because then all of a sudden they're working 120 hours a week and they don't have the support, and then they get to a point where they're stretched way beyond their bandwidth, and then they sabotage everything and shut it down, right?
Right.
Just because they didn't build their business around their life. They were trying to fit their life, and then their relationships collapse and all these other things like fall apart because they weren't conscious in designing their lifestyle and their business in the first place. And then after we explore those questions that live big, the final question is, okay, how do we create that? How do we really create that life and make it so it's sustainable, and really create that game plan? So that's something I'm really passionate about, is helping people discover, you know, those questions. But it's true, like a lot of people are like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. Right? Well, I think the first question to ask is like, okay, well, what do I want? And just keep asking that question, be in that question. You know, one of the things that I was actually working with one of my private clients on this week is really teaching her how to ask effective questions, right? To really explore what are the questions that you need to ask. Because if you don't ask the question first, how are you going to find the answer? And if someone's stuck, I find that most of the time is just exploring what's an effective question to help you get unstuck. And the first question, obviously, if you don't know what you want, is like, okay, well, what do I want? If anything were possible, what would I create? And just to be in that question and let it evolve as you get more clear. And then you see someone else who's like, oh my gosh, I see Carrie. I love her. I love what she does. You know, I wonder what it would look like for me to do something similar to that, right? Or you see someone that has another type of business, like, wow, that's really cool. I would love to do that. And then to make sure you get the right mentoring or support from someone like Carrie or someone like me who can guide you to create that. Like that mentoring or support is so critical. It's so foundational.
Yes, those most likely those businesses that quit, like you mentioned, probably didn't have a coach kicking them up the ass to keep going, but they burn out. And I started coaching in 2005, 10 years ago now. But I had a detour, I had a divorce, I had bankruptcy in there too. I had a couple failed businesses, 4 properties, 4 houses and 10 acres I said goodbye to, left my husband, took off 2,000 miles away from everybody I knew and found myself. So we all have our own shit show that shows up.
It's fantastic. I just euphemistically call that just accelerated learning opportunity.
Yes. Boy, was it ever. My year was 2008, 2009. So, you know, it's a beautiful thing. We come up out of the ashes, rising, shining, and more beautiful than ever. But overall, though, I did do some of the business crap that you talked about. You know, I did start a business here in Las Vegas, and it was all ego-based. And shocking, it didn't work. You know, it was a big epic fail.
Hallelujah. Thank heavens it didn't work.
I know. It was all 100% ego. What will this make me look like? What, you know, position can I look like? You know, and all of this bullshit. But it does lead you, you know, and always the dots connect behind us, which is beautiful. Unfortunately, they do not connect in front. You got to take those steps in faith. But it does make perfect sense to where you are today. And I love that you start with that question of who am I? And I didn't with that business, obviously, at all. I did what I thought everyone else wanted and expected of me and what would make me the most money, you know. So I love that I have come to that, obviously, conclusion. I think I was at a leadership boot camp with Rapport Leadership, which is a company out just outside of Las Vegas, a great coaching company. And sitting there in the middle of my tears, development, and people around me cheering you on, and you know how it is when you go through your breakthroughs. It was like, this is it, this self-development stuff I need to get back to. This is who I am. This is what I started, you know, 10 years ago. When did I lose myself along the way? And that's my job in life, is just to inspire the pants off people, motivate them, give them hope, and then show them the way. You know, I love to just breathe hope back into people's lives. And then show them how to get there, you know, because I don't want to just leave them there all happy. That only lasts for so long. Show them the ropes, people. That's what a coach is all about. So I love that you touched on all those points. Good stuff. So we have more in common than you realize. Will you win on the dad factor? I have one daughter. You have 4 kids?
You have 4. Yeah, 4 amazing, awesome kids. Yeah.
So speak about the lifestyle again, because you just got back from Colombia.
Yeah, I got back from Colombia not long before then. I got back from a trip to Nepal, you know, and I'm heading to Hawaii within the next month to prepare for our event that's coming up there. Got another plan to do an event in Bali, you know, a 7-day retreat in Bali. Like I'm basically committed to living a life where I can run my business from wherever I want, and to have it set up with enough flexibility that that I can pursue exploring life and growing the way that I want to. You know, so core to why I do what I do is because I'm addicted to growth. I'm addicted to personal development. Like, and I think the reason why I coach is because I'm always learning for myself. And so part of my mission, part of what lights me up is to continually be learning and growing and looking at, okay, what other workshops can I go to so that I can be a more powerful presenter, teacher, leader, inspirer. So like, for instance, this journey to Colombia was completely life-changing for me, but it was basically a 7-day spiritual retreat that I did down there, you know, with a shaman. Why? Just because I like this, my soul's like yearning for this, and had some huge shifts and yeah, just really big breakthroughs. And so my lifestyle is really about creating that for me, being able to create that for my kids, being able to create that for my goddess, and just being able to be in a space where it's just like, okay, what inspires me now? I'm completely 100% committed to living an inspired life, to doing those things that lighten me up. And so I asked myself, like, okay, well, what would inspire me to create next, right? And so even with my work, it's just like, okay, well, what would I really enjoy doing with my clients? What would I personally invest in? And then I create it for my clients, you know, and I just love living from that space of curiosity and inspiration and freedom and exploration. Those are core words that drive me as a business owner, along with contribution, like really wanting to make sure that I deeply impact and change people's lives. And you probably get this too, like it's so fulfilling to get messages all the time, whether on Facebook or, you know, emails or just people like telling me, it's just like, you have no idea how much you changed my life, right? It was really fascinating. Actually, yesterday I was at another workshop seminar that someone was putting on. I was really interested in learning. It was a money workshop, and so I went there and I had someone come up to me. I've never met this woman before, but she came up to me and she's like, "Hey, you're Gerald Rogers, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," and she's like, I've been following you on Facebook for the last couple of years, and I just want you to know you've totally changed my life, right? And it was so like there's like this deep sense of like gratitude and appreciation and humility that goes into this experience where somehow me just sharing whatever message comes to my heart is somehow connecting with someone that I've never met before and I might not ever meet, and somehow their life is better just because I chose to share whatever inspiration I had, right? That to me is so deeply fulfilling, and at the core, that's why I do what I do.
That's when you know you're Facebook famous. I've gone to so many events that have done that, and you feel almost silly, like, oh, what did they see, you know, or what are you referring to? What post exactly? Because I'm pretty authentically out there too, like you. But it happens a lot. It reminds me to get out of the house more.
Yeah, it's really funny to have someone come up and say, because I just recently just barely got into a relationship, and I just shared like some of the things I'm learning in my relationship on Facebook, and so now I have these total strangers coming up to me. It's like, hey, so how's Krista doing? I'm like, oh yeah, you know about Chris. Like it's just a really fascinating space of being like public, but that's part of my mission too. Like I'm committed to playing big in my life, and being big means showing up authentically in all my greatness and all my shit, like just saying, hey, you know, this is what I'm learning in my life right now. And if it supports you and inspires you, then it's my job to share that. And so, yeah, I mean, it's something I've chosen. It doesn't mean everyone in their business that's a match for them. But for me, I know that I'm a messenger. I know that God gave me a purpose to inspire and to lead other people. And like, it's my mission to be as bold and as authentic as possible in sharing whatever words He gives me.
Absolutely. I think that's the best part. Like, I'm addicted to growth too, and I think what's even better is we get to be a conduit, more of a, we get to grow, but we get to share it, you know? And we've got all these clients and potential clients and our audience and our tribe that we've attracted that we get to share it with, which just flows through us even better than to just be someone that's learning and then keeps it to themselves, you know? But with our career, we get to share it. So as I grow, my clients grow, you know? It's just this beautiful karma type of effect of what goes around comes around. I just love that I get to be that flow, you know, of growth towards my clients. I'm sure you do too. But I love that you touch base. You never stop growing. You always invest in yourselves, you know, and looking for that next workshop or.
And investing as an entrepreneur, like, it's critical you are comfortable investing in yourself, right? Yes. Like, I personally, I've invested over $250,000 over the last 10 years into myself, right? Through seminars, through coaches that I've hired, through mastermind experiences, through just different forms of my own education, well over $250,000. And that might be intimidating to some people, but here's the deal. Like, with any sort of investment, you're always looking for a return on investment. I don't want anyone to ever hire me and to have them feel like it's costing them money. Like, it shouldn't cost them money, because my job is to inspire them to live in a more powerful way so that more money comes to them, right? And especially if someone's blocked around money and says, oh my gosh, I can't afford it. I can't afford the $1,000 for that workshop, or I can't afford, you know, $10,000 to work with Carrie, or I can't afford, you know, this program or that program. It's just like, that's exactly why you need it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having a hard time affording it, then you have to shake things up in your life. You have to make that commitment to yourself. You have to be willing to believe in yourself enough that says, okay, I'm going to find a way. And one of my favorite quotes from Tony Robbins is, he says, it's never about resources, it's about resourcefulness. Mm-hmm. And the deal is, if $1,000 stops someone from taking action on something they feel inspired to do because they have the story that they don't have the money, like, that is the first story to attack. Is like, okay, why would I believe that $1,000 is a block, right? I'm an unlimited being of incredible potential. Like, what resources are available to us when we actually choose to be resourceful? And then we realize, yeah, you know, I could, if I wanted to, you know, come up with any amount of money in a very, very short amount of time, because I'm resourceful, right? And for clients that are stuck with, oh my gosh, I can't afford it, that's exactly why you need a coach. You need a mentor. You need someone to help you see the world different, so you're not blocked by little things like that. Because if you're blocked by little things like that, don't ever expect to have like a successful business, because there's going to be much bigger obstacles that you run into. So that's my pitch for you, Carrie. Like, people, invest in Carrie. Hire a coach. You need it, like, whatever it costs. Like, no, seriously. Like, I'm 100% like, get the support you need and invest in a coach or mentor. Unless this is why I always say, like, because I used to be a chronic do-it-yourselfer. I used to think, oh my gosh, and I was a cheapskate, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that sounds so much money. And so I try to figure out how to do it on my own. And what I discovered is this: if you want the hardest, most painful, most time-consuming, and most expensive way to probably not get what you want, then do it yourself.
Yes.
Like, seriously, like, that's the best way to fail, is to try to do it on your own. But if you want the cheapest, if you want the fastest, if you want the easiest way to ensure your success, then hire someone like Carrie. You know, hire someone like me, someone that is a coach that can guide you through that journey, So you're not like stumbling your way through blindly and just hoping that somehow you're going to make it.
Right.
Yeah, and I actually heard a quote, heard a TED Talk from Bill Gates, and Bill Gates says, everyone needs a coach, right?
Yes.
Like, okay, well, is he a guy that maybe I could learn from? All right, so perhaps I should like pay attention, right?
Yeah, he's Bill Gates.
Perhaps he's created something I haven't, and maybe there's some value in that. And so I've really, and that's something I'm really passionate about.
I couldn't agree more. I think the best thing I ever did for myself was to hire my first online business coach to take my business from community to global. And best thing I ever did. And did I, as a single mom with one income coming in at the time, was that a smart, logical financial move? No, but it's true. And I even tell my clients this: don't buy into their money story, because you're just helping them create more blocks. You know, you're just helping them limit themselves even more. Again, I love that you showed that we're resourceful. You get to go create it, because there's something about just opening it in your mind. That's all it is. That just open the door in your mind and step forward, and you start to see things happen. It's just magic.
Yeah. And a lot of the breakthrough happens just from simply making that commitment and finding a way to do it. Yeah. And this is actually what I encourage people. It's like, if it's comfortable for you to invest in something bigger, right? Invest in more, like make it uncomfortable. Like the more uncomfortable it is for you, the greater the breakthroughs you will have. So
very true. Those are the ones I really want to work with, because they're going to try to make it happen faster. I'm all about results.
Oh my gosh, they're like the ones that are like really spend like the last dime to like get that support. Man, those are the ones I would bet on any day, just because they're going to find a way to be successful.
Yes. I worked with a coach in Canada who had two small children at the time, literally invested everything he could into his business coaching practice, like had $10 to his name in his checking account. He has a wife and 2 kids. He ended up being probably our biggest top earner that year, you know, just blew away numbers. But his why was so big, you know, it just, there was no looking back. I always say, burn the bridge behind you. Don't create a plan B. This is the only one we've got. Just give it all you've got. And it works like magic. And those are the ones that are most successful.
Commitment. Absolutely. It's huge.
Yes. Burn the bridge behind you. That's right. Just bomb it.
Yeah. And then like it forces you to be resourceful. You're going to figure it out. Like if you have to figure it out, you'll figure it out. But if you've got all these other plan Bs and other options, then there's always an option for, but you know, one of the things I take, you know, when someone's applying to work with me, I ask them, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to getting these results? And if they say, you know, 7 or 8, I simply say this. Say, okay, just so you know, I only work with 10s, right? And so, and I'm really upfront with the fact that I'm not interested in working with a 7 or 8. And then I ask them, so why do you think that I only work with 10s? They're like, oh, because you want people to get results? Yeah, absolutely. Because you know that if they're committed at a level 10, then they won't make excuses? Absolutely. Like at the end of the day, if someone's only committed at a level 7 or level 8 to building their business, the moment that they run into a level 9 obstacle, which they will hit resistance at a level 9. But if they're only committed to level 7, level 8, they'll find a reason to give up, because their excuses are bigger than their dreams or their commitments. But if someone's committed to level 10, it doesn't matter what the obstacle, what the resistance is that shows up, they'll find a way, or they'll make a way to be successful. And so then the question I ask after that is like, okay, what's really holding you back from being a level 10? And they work on it. And if they get to level 10, great. I'm happy to consider working with them. And if not, it's like, okay, great. Well, when you are ready and really committed, let me know. I would love to support you. But until then, it's just not a match.
I love that. You're helping them step up their game too. It's not just about you wanting results. You're actually doing them a favor.
Well, and then from a coaching relationship, it sets a standard of excellence, right?
Right.
I'm not interested in mediocre results with my clients. I'm not. Like, I really want to see them completely crush it in their business, in their life. And that happens when there's commitment, and it doesn't happen when they're, you know, dipping their toes in just to see, you know, how warm the water is.
Yes, those are not so much fun to coach, those people.
Yeah, it's really like, and those are the type of clients that I'm like, okay, I'm going to fire you because
Yes, I've done that too.
because I deserve to work with people that are as committed to their success as I am.
Yes, yeah, we adapt their goals as ours. So yes, it has to work both ways. I do have that in my agreement too. I have permission to fire you. You will be fired if we do not hit our goals. Yeah, it's something about, we want success so bad, and it's not an ego thing at all. It's all about just, we love that high we get when our clients hit a goal. I mean, isn't that the best feeling on the planet?
Yeah, yeah, it is, and there's something that happens when people actually step up to that, where it completely redefines how they see themselves. Mm-hmm. Right, it completely redefines. You know, one of the core things that we do at Live Big is we talk about the power of our self-image. There's a book by Maxwell Maltz called Psycho-Cybernetics. I don't know if you've read it, but it's a really powerful personal development book. But one of the concepts he talks about in that is, he says, you can never outperform your self-image. Like, if you have a belief that you're only worth $50,000 a year, you can't make more. And if you do make more, you'll sabotage whatever that is, and you'll get rid of that money. If you've got a self-image that believes that you're meant to struggle month to month, it doesn't matter what money comes into your life, you'll find a way to get rid of it so you stay struggling month to month. If you have a belief that you're always 30 pounds overweight, and that's the self-image that you've developed for yourself, it doesn't matter what diet you go on, it doesn't matter what exercise you program, you'll find a way to get back that weight to match your self-image. There's no amount of willpower in the world that can override a person's core self-image. If someone believes that, you know, men are, you know, jerks and they always cheat on you and they don't deserve a good relationship, they're not worthy of love, then it doesn't matter what man comes into their life, they'll find a way to sabotage that relationship to validate whatever story that they have. And so much of the work is about redefining our self-image and learning to see ourselves as who we really are versus the egoic limits that we have defined ourselves by in the past. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about Live Big. It's just because it really creates that core, like, 3-day experience that breaks people open for them to really start seeing the possibilities of who they really are. And then, you know, all the additional supporting programs are really designed to reinforce that. And when someone has success and they make that money or they hit their goal, all of a sudden they start seeing themselves differently. So they've got this whole new comfort zone that's created and whole new possibilities in their life.
I love that. That is the core. And that's why it's so important to work on, like you said before, the mindset and the skill set, because you can teach all day long how to have a business, how to do this, but if you don't stop and work on that inner work, I've had it happen many times where a client will make more money than they've ever made, and then they'll sabotage it or do something and withhold themselves back, and we don't hit our goal. And if you don't take that amount of time to work on that self-development part, you're going to consistently sabotage. And it's got to be a good, happy mix of both. I love that you covered that. So what is the name of that book again?
Psycho-Cybernetics. Yeah, it's a fascinating book. He it's probably 1950s or 1960s that he wrote it, but he was actually a cosmetic surgeon. He did plastic surgery. And he was so curious because he could totally, like, transform the outside of a woman, but they would still look at themselves and see themselves as ugly, right? Yes. And it was like, why is this happening? You know, they've shifted the outside, but until the inner shift happens, until they feel beautiful on the inside, it doesn't matter the exterior. And the exact same true with money or relationships or all the other things. It's the inner game that really creates the lasting change.
I love that. I might have to put that on my mandatory book list for all clients. Very cool. Well, if you could give us, like, one little spot, what's your favorite part of your business? What part lights you up the most?
So my favorite part is during Live Big, when we take them through this process of really in meeting their sacred self, right? And really getting to know who they are at their core. And And I've done a lot of hypnosis and NLP, so I build this into my program where we really get down underneath the surface and help them really discover and reclaim this power, and then oftentimes it will lead into a really intense breakthrough process where, you know, people will be crying and they'll be like, they're just like shedding, you know, they're shedding the shit, right? They're just releasing all of this garbage that doesn't serve them anymore. And to see the transformation that happens as an individual and as a community for these people that come in, right? To watch how much their lives have changed in the course of 3 days. 3 days where they're investing in an intensive level in their own growth and own development, and to see people that walk in, they're all reserved and like, what's this about? I don't like these type of seminars, right? And they're just so like stuck in their own garbage, and to see them walk out 3 days later just lit up and so excited about life, so on fire about where they're going, so confident in who they are, and so connected, and just really, it's almost as though like the shell's like been broken off them, and this new person emerges. Like they've shed all of that garbage that that doesn't release. And then for me, like that will never get old. You know, I love doing that, and we do our Live Big event about 6 times a year, and yeah, every single time just magic happens, and it's really amazing for me to see those breakthroughs. That's what I love.
I am right there with you. My favorite candy. Like if there's one sweet spot, that's it. It's that self-development, that transformation. It's got to be awesome. It's like before and after pictures, or in your mind of what that person looked like in the beginning, and that transformation. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads us right into our offer. So what do you have for our audience today?
You know, I've been thinking about this, Carrie, and I want to do something a little bit crazy. But I feel so inspired, like, to give, you know, and to really give massive value, and especially for the people that are really hungering for massive change in their life right now. If someone out there is feeling stuck and they really want to create some breakthroughs, if someone's trying to define like what they want their relationships, what they want their business, what they want their health to look like, if they really want to explore what living big means to them, I want to give this massive, massive gift right now. So Live Big is I've talked about it a little bit, but it's the event that I'm most passionate about, just because I see the breakthroughs that happen. It's an event that we charge $997 for, but what I want to do is I want to give away a certain number of scholarships to people that are watching this program, where they can come and attend that event as my guest at no charge. And what I'm going to have you do, if you're interested in, like, I'm going to limit it to about 10 people that I'm going to give the scholarship to. But if you go to livebigseminar.com, once again, that's livebigseminar.com/free. That's where you can sign up to become my guest for the next Live Big. And just take it seriously. Like, the only caveat that I would say to that is I want you to come as though you've invested $1,000 to be there. You know, people fly in from all over the country to be there. And it doesn't serve you to feel like you got it for free. Simply because I don't want you to take it for granted. There's massive value that happens. And so just come with feeling as though you've invested that $1,000. And I know there's going to be a commitment of time, of finding babysitters, of, you know, arranging travel, of, like, there's going to be an investment that's required to be there. But it's worth everything that it takes to be there. And you know, I had a client, one of my clients, after she'd gone to, you know, dozens and dozens of seminars, and she came and she's like, oh my gosh, this was the most powerful event I've ever been to in my life. She said it was like 3 years worth of personal development packed into 3 days. And I love that. So once again, if you go to livebigseminar.com/free, you can access that and come as my guest. Just make sure you introduce yourself when you come, and I'm really excited to meet you. Let me know that you came because you know, you're friends with Carrie, and we'll hook you up. The one thing that I will also tell you is we do ask a $100 reservation deposit. You get that back when you attend, but that's just to help to make sure that you're really committed. We have very limited seating and space at each of these events. We intentionally make it so that it doesn't get too big. So there's a $100 reservation deposit, but when you come, you get that money back. So just, yeah, livebigseminar.com/free. The first 10 people just come, and I promise you, your life will never be the same.
That's extremely generous. I think that's awesome. How beautiful. I've seen, just pictures and you doing video and things of that nature. And it's usually in some beautiful cabin in Utah. That all by itself is a lure. Oh, let me go to the mountains. Happy space. But that's a beautiful offer. So thank you so much for that, Gerald. So we'll include that link in the body of this video and email as well. So with that being said, I just want to thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you, and I love all of the golden nuggets we got from you today. Even re-inspired me, and it's the weekend. So now what am I going to do with all this extra mojo that you just poured into me? What am I going to go create today?
Let's go create something. Let's make it up.
Exactly. So with that being said, I want to say goodbye to everybody. So bye, guys.
Thank you.